You won't believe the tea we're spilling today. From secret breakups to shocking lies, this is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. Suppose everything you ever thought about the Brown family was a lie. Suppose the marriage everyone witnessed, the one that TLC portrayed, wasn't real at all. Tonight, in a tension-packed courtroom, betrayal, and secrets too deadly for TV, the truth explodes. Christine has crossed where no one ever was brave enough to cross. She's targeting the one marriage Robyn thought would never be broken. My 10 now. A judge has in his hands not only their marriages, but their entire legacy. Might this explosive bombshell be that Robyn was never legally Cody's wife? Might decades of devotion, sacrifice, and public embarrassment have all been based on a forged signature? Stay with us. Because what's coming is going to rock the Brown family to its core and prove that the cameras never saw half the drama. They thought the cameras stopped rolling. They thought the paperwork was deep-sixed. But today, in a courtroom heavy with whispers and stagnant cold air, all fans think they know about Kody Brown's marriages is being shredded to pieces. Christine isn't present to play games. Her eyes burn with defiance, her posture calm but unyielding. Kody sits rigidly across the aisle from her, jaw tight, not daring to glance in her direction. Robyn, covered in blue and trembling behind careful makeup, clutches her wedding band like a soldier grasps a shield, except that this time, the shield might shatter. The judge enters, and silence sweeps over the courtroom. No reality show any longer. No producers, no do-overs. This is a war for truth, and the prize is nothing short of the legal basis for Kody and Robyn's union. Christine's lawyer is the first to speak, meticulously presenting a bombshell allegation. The divorce of Kody and Meri was never finalized before his legal wedding ceremony with Robyn. The timing doesn't add up. The papers are faulty. The testimony of the court clerk is one of delays, red-flagged files, and suspect sign-offs. And then there's the clincher, an email to the county clerk's office 3 weeks before the divorce was finalized, supposedly asking for the papers to be pushed through due to a TLC filming deadline. Even the judge leans forward, looking visibly upset. Robyn's head is ducked, her lips trembling as Kody blows up, only to be cut off by the gavel. But then there is the shock when the actual marriage certificate is produced. The notary stamp is wrong. A forensic expert in handwriting is called. Within minutes, she reports, the signature may be a fake. Gasps fill the courtroom. Robyn's tears drop. Kody's eyes become clouded, not with love, not with devotion, but something far darker, fear. And then, as if the walls have secrets to keep still, Robyn's phone rings. One message shows, they know about Vegas. Christine sees it, and she knows. This trial is just beginning. The handwriting expert will have full latitude to cross-examine. Kody jumps up. Your Honor, this has gone too far, but the judge does not move. Mr. Brown. This marriage is being employed as legal grounds for property, custody, and contract marriages. If it was never legal to begin with, then this court must legalize it. Robyn's lawyer asks for a recess. Denied. Then the room shakes a second time. Christine's lawyer plays a voicemail. It is muffled, but undoubtedly Robyn's voice. Just have her sign it and date it by Monday. We require the tapes by then, or the whole project falls apart with the network. Context is required by the judge. Christine's workers disclose that the voicemail was retrieved from a backup phone of a production coordinator for TLC from nearly 10 years ago and had languished in a mislabeled file. The voicemail had not ever been aired, never been brought before the court, never even mentioned until today. A 10-year-old voicemail has just surfaced, and it may be the one thing that finally shatters Robyn's tightly held version of the truth. Kody buries his head in his hands. Robyn sits rigidly still, her eyes fixed on some point in front of her. For once, her lawyer looks actually shaken. Christine can hardly credit it. The lie that labeled her bitter, jealous, unstable. It's unraveling in the glare of the spotlights of reality. This ain't revenge, this is resurrection. There's a brief recess in court, and as everyone exits the room, Christine stands in the corridor, outside. Meri is sitting on a bench quietly, with her arms across her chest. Christine waits, then steps across. "You all right?" she asks quietly. Meri shrugs. "I don't know how to feel." She grumbles. "Part of me's angry. Part of me's relieved." Christine sits down next to her. "You could still be his rightful wife?" she gasps. Meri emits a sarcastic laugh. "Yeah? Well, I don't want that title either." In court, the court clerk approaches the judge with something wrong. A letter sent by hand. No return address on it. The judge reads it in silence. His eyes skew. "What is that?" Robyn's attorney asks. "It's an affidavit," the judge responds, "from the notary who purportedly signed off on Robyn's marriage license." "Oh," a moment of silence. She says she wasn't there. A sworn affidavit has just been flung onto the judge's bench, and it cites the notary stating on Robyn's marriage license never saw the signing take place at all. The courtroom realigns. Reporters scramble for notebooks. The judge bangs the gavel and requests an immediate verification of the letter's validity. There's a spontaneous comparative handwriting exam. It attests. Robyn, quote, his attorney stumbles. "Your Honor, this is not evidence of intent. Miscommunication can happen, but it's done." The judge instructs a fraud investigation. Cody growls under his breath. "What did you do, Robyn?" She doesn't respond. Rather, she stands slowly, silently, and approaches the judge's bench over her attorney's objection. She talks. "I must tell them something," she says. Everyone tenses. Cameras swivel. Pens cease movement. The judge leans forward, and Robyn takes a shuddering breath. "I did not want it to go like this." She starts. "We were in trouble. TLC desired legal tidiness for the contract. We thought it was technical." Cody assured Meri that the divorce would be complete. "I trusted him. I thought it was only paperwork." "You're conceding that the notary had never signed the marriage license?" the judge inquires. Robyn pauses. And in that moment of hesitation, the room leans forward. Robyn, quote, his face contorts. Her voice trembles. "Yes, Robyn has just conceded that the marriage license had been signed without a legitimate witness. It's all hanging in the balance now." She looks up into the judge's face for a long, wordless moment. "This court will return tomorrow," he quotes easily. "And take notice. This has escalated from a civil case to the world of criminal investigation." Dumbstruck. Silence falls over the room. Christine looks vindicated and stunned, and Meri quietly dabs one away. Not for Cody, not for Robyn, but for years spent running after a lie. In the hallway outside, the press start filling social media with headlines. Robyn Brown admits to forged marriage papers. Meri is still Cody's wife. Court orders fraud investigation. And just as Christine exits the courthouse doors, her cell phone vibrates. A text message from an unknown number. One sentence. Vegas is not the only lie. The courthouse is different the next day. The traditional courtroom gossip has been replaced by whispers with fear, awe, and something else, anticipation. In the aftermath of Robyn's shocking admission, legal wife and criminal witness had become a blur, and with the threat of a possible fraud investigation looming over their heads by the judge, each second is like a ticking time bomb. Christine climbs up the courthouse steps, phone in her hand, still dwelling on the anonymous message on her phone last night. Vegas is not the only lie. She hasn't called back. She doesn't know if she should. But one thing's certain, there's more to it. And someone somewhere knows precisely what. In the courtroom, Robyn is by herself. No Cody, no attorney by her side. Just she, a notebook, and a silent storm behind her eyes. The judge hasn't arrived yet, but already the tension is suffocating the air. Meri is next seen. Her face is no longer sad, unreadable now, like she is fighting between past hurts and new empowerment. She sits nowhere close to Robyn. She does not even glance at her. The door opens once more. Cody enters, sunglasses still on his eyes, accompanied by a new attorney, one who specializes in criminal defense. That is enough to send a ripple through the room. This is no family soap opera anymore. This is business. Cody just hired a defense attorney, so even he believes something huge is going to blow. The judge comes in looking even more somber than normal. He doesn't tarry. "We are expanding the scope of this hearing," he announces. Anonymous new evidence has been presented that could potentially impact the validity of the Brown family's legal documents. Christine stiffens. This is what the message was about. A court officer hands the judge a tiny envelope, a printed-out screenshot inside. It's an internal email system. A memo between a woman who is only described as RB and a former executive at TLC. The subject line, Nevada filing timeline. Can it be retroactive? The judge glances up, an eyebrow arched. We're in the process of subpoenaing the network's compliance. Christine, quote, heart races. If that's the case, if Robyn was colluding with TLC to legitimize her marriage in advance, then that's not fraud, that's collusion, and that would mean that the show everybody trusted was employing covert illegal moves behind closed doors. Robyn doesn't answer. She looks straight ahead as if she's attempting to evaporate into thin air. Christine's attorney stands up and requests permission to present a timeline analysis of the initial divorce papers versus the air schedules of the show. Robyn's public declarations and a suspect 72-hour block of time in which Robyn's marriage was on television but not yet legally established. The judge grants permission. Christine's attorneys now establish that the show had Robyn as Cody's lawful wife prior to her ever being one or ever being able to be one. Then there is a very important testimony provided. A whistleblower, a former production crew member by the name of Kevin, is summoned to testify anonymously up to the current date. He approaches the stand shaking visibly but resolute. He vows that Robyn and Cody were hysterical on the day that season 11 was filmed, that they requested reshoots, that documents were taken to the production office rather than the courthouse, that there were arguments had over how to stage the marriage for ratings, and then he utters it. Robyn asked if they could pretend that it was legal before they actually made it legal. Gasps erupted around the room. Robyn finally responds. That is a lie. She lost it. The judge shut her up. Kevin blinks once. She said it to me straight out. Cody stood there behind her. Christine's breathing becomes strained. So it wasn't love after all. It wasn't family at all. It was image, power, public manipulation. The judge requests Robyn to deny or confirm the accusation. She glances at Cody. He does not look at her. Robyn finally gets it. Cody isn't going to save her anymore. He's saving himself. Her voice is tiny. We were desperate. We were going to lose everything. The courtroom explodes. The judge bangs his gavel and yells for order. Then Christine's attorney surprises us with the next bomb. A motion to subpoena TLC's lawyers and internal production records. Robyn interrupts him, now sobbing. You don't understand, she whispers. They promised us all that if we did. They explained to us it was just technical, that it would actually not be counted afterwards. But it was. I lost my family due to this. I lost myself. Cody remains silently, watching her. Christine doesn't even blink. The judge addresses Meri. You were never informed your divorce was not finalized, is that right? Meri nods. I was informed it was complete. I thought so. I never got caught up that it wasn't. So, the judge inquires. You could still have been lawfully married to Mr. Brown when he applied for the next marriage license. Meri blinks. Yes, One word creates a quiet ripple through all the individuals in the room. Meri just confirmed she might have been lawfully wedded to Cody when Robyn submitted her marriage license. This would nullify the entire thing. The judge speaks, if it is. Determined, Kody and Robyn's union can be retroactively dissolved and all of the money-based claims that it generated can be reopened, like shared properties, property titles, and contractual arrangements with TLC. Christine glances over at Robyn. "You built this," she growls. "You built this on lies." Robyn stares at her glassy eyes. "You broke away. You didn't have to return for this," Christine retorts icily. "I returned not for revenge. I returned for truth. The show lied. Cody lied. You lied. And we suffered the cost of those lies." Cody stands at last. "You believe that this is just?" He bellows. "You believe that destroying us will serve you better?" Christine smiles at him serenely. "No, but perhaps it will prevent the next lie from being crafted into truth." The judge declares a recess. The courtroom empties and Christine's phone rings. Again. Another anonymous message. This one with a photo. Robyn sitting behind a desk signing a contract. The date 3 days before her marriage was legalized. Somebody has just sent Christine photo proof that Robyn signed a contract declaring she was a legal wife before her marriage even existed. And next session, Christine is going to discover who is delivering these anonymous revelations. Christine's hands tremble as she gazes at the photograph. Grainy, but legible. Robyn sitting behind a desk, hair back, weary expression, rigid posture. On the table in front of her, a contract bearing the TLC logo stamped at the top. Next to her is a pad that says, "Wife storyline confirmed legal." The timestamp verifies the rest. 3 days before even the state processed her wedding. Someone has eyes. Christine has no idea if she's supposed to be frightened or empowered. Someone's providing her with hints, one morsel at a time, and whatever is to come might blow the whole framework of this case wide open. The courtroom is shocked into silence. Robyn is already in the courtroom. No makeup today. Her hands are held firm, in her lap. Cody sits next to her, stiff, hardly even noticing she's sitting there. He's no longer protecting her. He hasn't even glanced her way since yesterday when she confessed. He thinks things are going to be different, and Cody Brown only appears in his own behalf when he stands to lose something precious. The judge clears his throat after considering new timeline evidence and changed marriage document inconsistencies. This court is proceeding with a formal investigation of marital fraud and perjury. Robyn's eyes close. The enormity of those two words, fraud and perjury, weighs down what remained of her dignity. The courtroom erupts in an uproar. Cameras click through glass walls. Reporters rush around. Robyn is officially on the hot seat for fraud and perjury, and for the first time, Cody is not standing beside her. Christine observes the breakdown in wide-eyed astonishment. This is no longer justice on the courtroom stage. It's intimate. Robyn's smile was pasted on covers for years, touted as the legal wife, the glue of Cody's legitimacy. And now, the entire edifice is an illusion collapsing in the moment. The judge pronounces TLC subpoenaed, internal memos, contracts, production, notes are to be combed through. But something more visceral comes next. Christine's lawyer has an announcement. They've received another message. This time, the witness is named Lori Hatchman, a former junior network executive at TLC. She will be testifying remotely. The screen springs to life. A woman in her 40s stands in front of it, exhausted, calm, and courageous. "I worked on Sister. Wives project seasons 9 through 12, she states. I actually negotiated Robyn's contract. The courtroom is quiet. I was told by higher-level staff to bring Robyn's legal wife's storyline forward. Although we knew the paperwork never went through, they wanted us to continue with the story. I objected. I was overruled, and there were talks of backdating our internal documents to reflect what would be broadcast. What if the biggest secret of the Brown family was never shown on television? What if the wedding that fans believed was legal, the one TLC based its storylines around, was nothing more than a counterfeit sham? And now, in a court of tension riddled with betrayal, decades of secrets and bombshells, it all comes crashing down. Christine has dropped evidence that would tear apart Kody and Robyn's entire marriage, expose TLC's behind-the-scenes manipulation, and pick apart the very threads of the sister wives' empire. But when you thought you'd heard it all, a mysterious message promises. There's an even darker reality. A $1.4 million secret hidden away in the family trust. Watch until the end, because what happens in this courtroom could rewrite reality TV history. The judge nods forward, voice acid sharp and calculated. You're claiming production knowingly falsified the legal status of this marriage? Yes, Your Honor. And Robyn was a willing participant. Kody's jaw clenches, leg jouncing under the table. Christine's heart racing. Robyn blinks not. No denial, no reaction. The courtroom is stunned. A TLC insider just told us that Robyn knowingly sold a lie, and now, the court has proof. Meri sits in the gallery, ashen-faced and stiff, lips tightly pursed. Years of shame, being used for ratings, flash before her like a vicious rerun. The judge issues a cold warning. If this is true, TLC may face heavy fines, and Robyn and Kody could face civil sanctions, asset freezes, even annulment of their marriage. But Christine isn't finished. She rises, voice calm but sharp. Your Honor, we've just received new financial documents, 2 property deeds filed solely under Robyn's name within 60 days of the alleged marriage. The revelation rocks the room. Those are the funds from the family trust, money donated by all the wives, taken before the marriage is even legal. Meri leaps up, screeching, "That's my money!" Christine firmly corrects her. Ours. The judge pounds the gavel, demanding a 30-minute recess. But Christine is not going into recess. Outside, she follows a mysterious clue, an anonymous number texted to her a location pin. Some 3 minutes later, Christine sits alone in a remote cafe across from a woman who wears dark glasses. No hello? No hello either, just a small drive, left on the table. This is all that TLC attempted to cover up, the woman speaks softly. In court, Christine gives her attorney the USB. Inside are memos, emails, and recordings from production that show Robyn signing off on a made-up story, and Kody helping to orchestrate the same. The first tape is played. Robyn's voice echoes. Above the silence, it don't matter what the papers say. If they see the kiss, the dress, they'll believe it. The courtroom erupts in gasps. The second tape? Worse. A producer chuckles with Robyn as she goes on. Kody said we'll take care of Meri later. He's already spoken with the notary. We just need it to be good for the finale. Meri's face hardens. Years of betrayal compressed into one brutal line. We'll deal with Meri later. The third clip reveals Robyn's mindset. Legal. Wife, spiritual wife, does it matter? The more confused the viewers, the higher the ratings. Finally, the bombshell, Robyn, Kody, and a TLC executive discussing staged paperwork. We don't need to be legal, Robyn says. We just need to look legal. The judge stares at her hard and heavy for a moment before declaring, "This court accepts these tapes as evidence. We now proceed with charges of fraud, misrepresentation, and conspiracy to achieve financial benefit." Robyn falls to the floor, weeping uncontrollably. But Kody? He rises, not to defend her, but to hand over a sealed folder. The judge reads from it out loud. Statement of separation. Filed this morning by Mr. Brown. Kody's voice is frosty. I no longer recognize my marriage to Robyn as emotionally, spiritually, or legally binding. The courtroom is silent. Robyn, betrayed by the man she worked so hard to own, collapses into herself. But as the session is coming to a close, Christine's phone buzzes yet again. Another anonymous text. Look to the trust. Nevada filing. February 12th. It's not over, and it isn't. The Nevada newspapers report a clandestine transfer, $1.4 million in assets, shifted into Robyn's name after the fake wedding. The scandal is not just a fake marriage anymore. It is about the biggest family betrayal ever, one that may ultimately bring down the Brown dynasty. Christine only learned yesterday that Cody secretly transferred the most prized family assets to Robyn. Weeks after their fake wedding fell apart and behind everyone's backs, Christine gazes at the screen in shocked disbelief. The home was a familiar one, a home Meri herself had a hand in constructing, a home Janelle had invested equity in, a home Christine herself had spent holidays adorning with the kids. It was to be sold, and the funds divided between all the wives. That was the deal. But Cody, he never kept it. She takes the document to her lawyer. "This is a forgery," he tells her. "And if we can establish intent, this is criminal theft of property." They go back to court. Christine doesn't hesitate. She asks emergency admission of the February 12th deed transfer into evidence. Robyn's lawyer objects, stating, "It's not germane." But Christine's tone becomes more insistent. That was never his to give. That trust had been mutual. "We never were notified, and it was presented after the marriage had been declared null." The judge stands to accept it. Robyn stammers, "I didn't know that. I swear. Cody had told me that it was a gift. He said it was a part of our future." Christine glances at her. "You were his future, Robyn, and you knew exactly what he was offering. You?" Cody finally speaks up. "I was protecting what little was left. The wives left. They turned their backs on us. Christine does not waste any time. We turned our backs on you when you torched everything." Cody has just admitted that he offered Robyn the $1 million house to salvage what was left, even though it belonged to all the wives in the eyes of the law. Then comes the unexpected moment. The judge looks at Meri. "You remain a co-signatory on the family trust." He continues, "So, you can have an injunction entered to prevent that transfer until the final order of this court. Do you want to do it in that way?" Meri is appalled. She looks at Cody, at Robyn, then at Christine. Her voice is quivering, yet firm. "Yes, I'd like to freeze it." A soft gasp passes through the room. This is the first time Meri had allied herself with someone, not with words, but action. All these years of silence, passivity, obedience to the extent of muteness, Meri just became part of the melee together with Christine. Robyn, quote, sorrowful hands shake. "Meri, you shouldn't do that." But Meri's face is stone. "You did this to us. You let him take it all, and now you're going to have to deal with what it costs." The judge approves the motion. The $1 million home is now hung in legal purgatory. And Cody. He stares at Meri like he's gazing at her after all these years, and suddenly remembering he lost her a lifetime ago, before there was ever even a courtroom fight. Meri only stopped Robyn's stolen property transfer at finally standing up for herself and contesting Christine's battle in open court. But the session isn't finished yet, because Christine has another ace up her sleeve to play. "I'd like to recall Robyn to the witness stand," she says. The judge concurs. Robyn hesitantly, slowly walks back to the podium. She again administers the oath. Christine wastes no time. "Who informed you that the wedding had to be rush-jobbed?" Robyn shakes her head. "The producers and Cody. They informed us that the tale would not be able to happen if we were not officially married." "And who organized the backdating of the license?" Robyn blinks and focuses on Cody. "I didn't. I signed what I was instructed to." "Who prepared the transfer of the trust?" Christine pushes the question. "Cody," says Robyn in a gentle tone. "Did you know that it would leave us with nothing on the final piece of property? I didn't think this would be an issue anymore. You all departed, and if the court decides that your marriage was never valid, what are you?" Robyn's eyes glaze over once more. "I don't." "No," she says. "Lonely, I guess." Christine inclines a little farther forward. No, it makes you complicit. The room locks up again. Robyn finally admitted that she knew Cody was taking advantage of her in order to get everything. And now the court no longer sees her as a victim, but as a co-conspirator. The judge requests closing statements be submitted. Judgments begin tomorrow, but as they all stand to leave, a court officer approaches the bench with an envelope. Just received, he shows. No return. The judge opens it. A picture inside. It's Robyn again, but this time from many years ago, standing in front of a document in her hand signed Robyn Brown, years before her legal name change. The judge frowns. Is this real? Christine's attorney produces a folder. Yes, it's a secret contract Kody and Robyn signed. It existed before the show. And then just everything switches up again. Because what the court now possesses is proof that Robyn and Cody plot to gain full legal ownership of the family assets before she was ever a wife. The judge just saw a surreptitious pre-show agreement between Cody and Robyn affirming their takeover plot on the family begun years earlier than anyone could have imagined. The courtroom isn't taking breath. Everyone's waiting with bated breath as the judge clutches the crumpled piece of paper as if it will explode. It has a yellowed sheen that betrays its age, but the letter, heavy and deliberate, remains readable. Co-ownership transfer and family. Strategic asset plan, private, signed in signature. Cody Brown and Robyn Sullivan 6 months ago when they were never even on the show. The judge glances up. Has either of the parties laid eyes on this document? Christine's attorney nods. This was pulled from an archive of legal documents in Flagstaff off of a different zoning case. We forensically matched both signatures. Robyn's eyelids start to flutter. She is breathing shallowly. Cody's face sets in a hard jaw. He doesn't reply. Your Honor? Christine interrupts. This proves Cody and Robyn were making financial decisions behind their backs. Years prior to Robyn having been brought into the family and years prior to Meri's spiritual marriage even began to disintegrate. The judge asks the clerk to read the document aloud. The room is silent. The two parties mutually commit to jointly owning future family trust properties and reshuffling the ownership stakes in case any of the family members dies, does not legally remarry, or disjoins. From the story being shared with the public narrative constructed the words land like bricks. Secretly, Robyn and Cody schemed the financial structure of the show before she was introduced, and constructed it on exercising authority over the family story. As the paper continues, details unravel. Provisions for legal protection in terms of status framing, residual payments control, and a private provision that if legal marriage ever became a requirement for contract or public clarity, Robyn would fill that role. Christine's stomach twists in knots. Meri gasps. Even the judge leans back in his chair. This wasn't love. This wasn't spontaneity. This was staged, manufactured. And the awful thing was, it worked years ago. The judge lays the paper down. Everything is different. Christine's attorney continues. We are now requesting in writing a complete reconstruction of the Brown family trust, immediate revocation of all property deals pertaining to the null marriage, and a criminal investigation into conspiracy to defraud. Robyn gets up. I didn't know that, she says, trembling. I thought we were preparing in case something happened. I never did take it out. Christine gets up. You used it the very moment you walked into that house and you smiled at us like you were just new. You weren't new, Robyn. You were set up. You knew what he was doing. You just made it look like it was fate, Christine says to her, shaking but firm. Robyn keeps her gaze fixed on the ground. I thought he loved me, she breathes. Cody finally speaks, voice low. I did love you, but we were creating something to protect the family. Meri whips around. No, you were creating something to protect yourselves. This had nothing to do with love. It was control. The The power of her words lingers in the air like smoke. Now all the wives know the truth. They weren't included in a family plan. They were issues to be dealt with. The judge leans in, stern and unrelenting. Tomorrow, individual testimony will be given by Mrs. Brown and Mr. Brown. Open book, everything, all properties, all contracts, all legal papers. 10 years. Robyn's mask breaks. No weeping for the cameras this time, merely bitter, rasping cries, ones that cannot be simulated. Court is adjourned. Meri lingers behind, stalking up to Christine. "Thank you," she whispers. Christine frowns. "For what?" "For finishing what I never had the courage to start." They sit, two women who once beamed together with each other for photos, now bound together by truth and respect. At the hotel, Christine rehearses the evidence one last time, the trust deeds, Robyn's emails, the deeds of transfer, and the confession agreement. No more tip-offs in the background, just silence, as if the whistleblower is aware that the rest is now up to her. But there's one piece of paper that Christine has not shared with anyone. A confidential email exchange between Cody and TLC, legal. It's short, brusque. Cody has penned, "If the wedding isn't finished on time, can we just tape it anyway?" The executive has replied, "Already did. Perception is reality." Christine gets this email is a nuclear bomb. If they took it, it would make this civil trial a whole media scandal, one that would disclose that the entire marriage story was staged in the know. The next day, Christine arrives early. Something's amiss. Security staff and whispered rumors are everywhere near the entrance. Her attorney hurries over. "Cody isn't here. Hospitalized last night. Chest discomfort? Potential panic attack." Christine exhales, not with victory, but with exhaustion. The judge grants a 24-hour continuance, but threatens, "If Mr. Brown can't make it, we'll go on without him." Robyn shows up, a ghost of herself. When questioned whether she's prepared to testify, her whisper is barely audible. "Yes." She takes the oath and speaks the words that bring the courtroom into stunned silence. "I lied about more than the license. I lied about everything." Gasps resound. Robyn continues, hands shaking but unyielding. "I managed the story. I approved of revisions. I even lied under interviews. Cody and I were told the family needed only one legal wife. I filled in. I thought that would strengthen us, but it destroyed us." Meri gently weeps, not with anger but freedom. Decades of lies finally named. The judge declares, "Court will reconvene tomorrow for closing statements and final judgment." Christine is on her way out when a man in a gray jacket approaches. Her. "I sent the messages," he says, holding out a business card. "TLC legal intern. Fired 2021. In its stead, a flash drive." "This will change everything," he whispers before disappearing into the crowd. The courtroom is more suffocating than ever. Cameras, reporters, lawyers, all feeling the end. Christine arrives with the drive clutched in her hand. The intern went missing after last night. But what he left behind is not merely evidence. It's fact, stamped with a date. She hands it over to her lawyer. "This is it. Play everything." The judge shows up. Cody is present, white and silent. No smugness, no swagger, just a man bracing himself for impact. Robyn is beside him, slumping, over in defeat, still reeling from admitting she had been lying and manipulating. But this flash drive, that's going to burn the sister wives' legacy to ashes. This family's drama is far from over. So smash like if yours are team wives, subscribe for the next explosive update, and drop a comment below. Who do you think will win? Stay shady, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next scandal. Behind TLC Sister Wives out.